As a young boy, the son of the biggest mafia in the world never knew his father's real occupation. He thought his father was simply a wealthy businessman, with many connections and friends. His father made sure to shield him from the darker aspects of his work, wanting to protect his innocence and keep him away from the harms of the underworld. However, as he got older, he began to businessman, who's always out and about, taking care of his businesses all over the world. His father would often travel, leaving him with his mother and siblings. He lived in a luxurious mansion and had all the things a child could ever dream of. However, his family was always surrounded by men in black suits, who were always present and watching them, but he never questioned why. As he grew older, he started to become more curious about his father's job. His father was always very protective of the family's privacy, and he never talked about his business dealings in front of them. But as he began to understand the world around him, he started to realize that there was more to his father's life than he was letting on. He started to hear things from his schoolmates, who claimed that his father was the head of the biggest mafia in the world, and that his family was involved in illegal activities. At first, he didn't believe them, but as he grew older, he started to see more and more evidence that his father was indeed involved in shady dealings. As he started to dig deeper, he found out that his father was involved in drug trafficking, arms smuggling, money laundering, and all kinds of illegal activities. It was then that he learned the true meaning of the word mafia. He was shocked to find out that his father was responsible for so much damage and misery around the world. He tried to confront his father about it, but he was always met with resistance. His father would always dismiss his questions, telling him to focus on his studies and not to worry about things he doesn't understand. But he couldn't shake the feeling that his father's actions were wrong. He started to see the pain that his father's businesses were causing around the world. He realized that the wealth and luxury he had been enjoying all his life were built on the backs of innocent people who were suffering. As he grew older, he realized that he needed to make a choice. He could continue living the life of luxury that his father had built for him, or he could stand up against his father and everything he stood for. It was a difficult decision to make. In the end, he chose to stand up against his father. He knew that it would be a dangerous decision, and that he could be putting himself in harm's way, but he could no longer sit idly by and watch his father destroy lives. He started to gather evidence against his father and his associates, meeting with law enforcement officials and working with them to bring down the mafia. It was a risky move, but he was determined to do whatever it took to put an end to the crime syndicate that his father had built. In the end, he succeeded. His father and many of his associates were arrested and put behind bars. The mafia was dismantled, and its influence greatly diminished. He knew that there was still work to be done to rebuild the lives that had been affected by his father's actions, but he was proud of what he had accomplished. He went on to live a quiet life, away from the spotlight and the luxuries he had once enjoyed. He dedicated himself to helping those who had been affected by his father's crimes and to making the world a better place. He knew that he could never make up for what his father had done, but he hoped that he could make a difference in his own way.